So it's really nice to see you again here, and great to have a bit of a catch up. And as we know, this is a coaching session, and I am recording this, and it will be. And if we share it, great. If not, then we'll just delete it. But the idea that this is a confidential coaching conversation between you and me, and the only any sharing will be done with your permission. Is that okay? Ah, okay.
Absolutely.
And we've got up to about 15 minutes today, between 40 and 50, depending on how we get on. But what thoughts have you got for today about a topic you wanted to work on?
Okay, so I've got two things. Firstly is about my career, where I'm going with it. And I guess the second thing ties in with that because I've got an idea to write a book. Um, but I'm sort of procrastinating a lot about it. And I think that stems from my feeling of imposter syndrome, my feeling of actually I feel like I haven't made progress or made the leeway that I wanted to. Maybe that's because I'm not good enough. And I think that's the sort of internal dialogue that I'm having. And I think that connects with everything really, my career and this idea for a book, I guess. Um, so maybe that would be worth exploring is why I feel that way, because the practicalities and the feedback I get is very positive. I've um so yeah.
Right. So there's two tangible topics, and then one very personal one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Career planning, book writing, but then a whole load of feelings around um, imposter syndrome and those other things that you said. So, should we look a little bit more to try and work out which is going to be the topic and the area of focus? So, from what you just said there, is there one area that stands out? Is there an amalgamation of the three, or what do you think?
I think there's definitely amalgamation of the three because I do believe that my emotions are connected to both, but I guess my maybe if we explore the career, that might unpick and help me work back down to the other two and put them into a bit more of a perspective for me.
Okay, okay. So thinking about the career, being aware that maybe some of these personal feelings are likely to come into this. And the book, is it around? Do we put it back on the shelf? What happens with the book?
It is around, and I think I have made a start. I've got this thing about numbskulls, and I think you have different numbskulls, which are voices in your heads that come out and say different things and stop you and give you either really help you and make you feel positive, or they cause doubt. And I've written a few articles around them which have been quite well received. So it was just about putting that together, almost like a comic, an adult comic around coaching and sort of that self-help
Yeah.
idea. Um, so that's what I've got going on at the back of my head. But I think the reason why I'm not going ahead, I haven't gone full force with it, is because I'm doubting my ability to get on with it.
Okay. So listening to the unhelpful numbskull rather than the
Yeah,
helpful one. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So let's just double check. You said that focusing on the rest of the career is a priority, but these other things that can come into play in
Yeah,
our conversation today. Okay,
yeah.
okay. So it's 10:30. Where do you want to be by 11:15 on this topic and the subtopics?
I think have be comfortable with my decision and hopefully know that I am just a little bit more confidence, I think, and not so much double guessing.
Mm,
Um, and be confident in the decisions that I'm making.
okay. And what would that give you if you have that confidence?
Direction, I
Mm,
think, I'll be able to stop double guessing the decisions that I'm making too in my career, um, and peace of mind. I think um, that's what I'm finding difficult
Yeah.
is just being okay with what I'm deciding
Yeah.
and what I'm doing.
Okay. So direction and peace of mind. So that's a practical and also quite an emotional one as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what's good going to look like by 11:15? You know, what would good in this conversation be like?
I'm not so muddled
Mm.
in my head. I think that ultimately that's
Yeah.
the bottom line.
Okay. So feeling less muddled by the time we get to the end of our time.
Yeah.
And what would good look like on this topic generally, in 3 or 6 or 9 months?
I'm more confident. I have, I think that's the biggest thing. I'm more confident. Whatever I decide, I'm more confident. It'd be great if could say, yeah, I'll have some paying clients as well, but that's neither here nor there, I think. I think this is about me, and it would be about just being comfortable with the decision that I've made,
Yes.
happy that I'm on a career path where I'm growing, um, and my confidence is growing as well.
Okay. So confidence internally, but also happy that the choice you've made is the right one. That's what it means to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So before we get into it, and this is quite a challenging question, I think, or maybe not, it's not yet clear. Can we identify a bit like what do we need to work on in order to get to this place? What are the areas? Because some of the things you've said are quite personal. Some of the things are about decisions that need to be made. So, do you get a sense of either one or more areas that we need to focus on for you?
Um, yeah, that's it. I think where I want to be, it's about my personal growth,
Yeah.
and that is a battle.
Mm.
I know that I have a lot more in me before it's time to retire, and I don't want to sort of just, I don't want to not give in to that. I want to be able to achieve, and I want to be able to look back and know that I've made a difference, um, but that I've made the most of myself as well. That I didn't settle, not for anything. I just didn't settle just because it was easy.
Okay. I didn't settle just because it was easy. Can we sort of ring fence that statement and have that bubbling away? Is that important to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. So we'll get into the body in a moment, but before we do, I wanted to check in. Are there decisions to be made today, or is this so? Is it like I want to decide I'll do X or Y, or is this more getting a different sense of where you're at?
Yeah, no decisions to be made today. This is
Okay.
just to help me get a sense of where I'm at and moving forward.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So how clear are you on what we're going to work on there?
Um, Clearer, I want to focus on my decision making. I want to know that I'm how I move forward is going to help me grow
Yes.
as a person. I'm going to feel more satisfied, um, and that more fulfilled, I
Yes.
think.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. Should we get into it? Should we get into some of the detail? I'm very mindful that there's lots of adjectives bubbling around, aren't there? There's lots of aspirational adjectives about how you would like to feel, and there's also some awareness of how you're currently feeling. So, if you're going to describe right how you're currently feeling about this situation, do share a little bit how you're feeling.
Um, I don't feel fulfilled. I'm bobbing along. I'm not challenged. What I'm doing currently works really well. I do it very well. it comes quite easy to me. Um, Teaching, training has always come quite easy to me. That's never really been a challenge. The challenge has been developing myself as a leader and growing that way. Um, and so I feel at the moment I'm I am developing a different side of me with the leadership training and the coaching that I'm doing, but it's not enough. Most of my day is spent training, and I find that it it's quite easy
Mm.
for me. I'm not taking away from the quality that I provide or the support that I provide, but it's not, I don't feel like I'm growing through that process.
Okay, so because you're doing something that you're experienced at and skilled at, and you said you find it easy, um, that means that you don't feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
Okay, and is this a new feeling? I mean, you're experienced, very experienced teacher and leader. So is this a new feeling, or has it been bubbling away for some time?
Um, it's been, it's fairly new because obviously when I was in school, I was always challenging myself. So I had opportunities to develop myself in different ways.
Mm.
So that, every couple of years I was doing something different to add to my skill set. And I think that kept going and that kept me fulfilled.
Mm.
Um, Here, obviously, initially it was a learning curve, it was a new area. The training side, it wasn't. I can disseminate information very well and I can do that. But learning the curriculum, learning all of that was new and that was interesting. Um, but because it's the same thing that I'm teaching, once I've got my head around it and I knew what had to be delivered, and then I changed what was being delivered so it was more effective and it was more up to date. And I keep adding things
Mm.
as we go on because I need something to challenge me.
Okay.
That's all good, but it's it's not enough. So I think it must be over the last sort of really since I've started coaching more and since I became qualified and I've sort of wanted to develop that and develop that,
Mm.
I feel like I keep getting barriers, which everybody does. And my head tells me, I know that, the people that I speak to who are coaches, that everybody is struggling and this isn't their only source of income. And I hear what people are saying, but that doesn't sort of stop me getting frustrated with it all.
And you've named this very important elephant in the coaching industry room. How on earth do we get clients? So that's bubbling away. I wanted before we get into that, I wanted to check in a bit about if you're saying you're not fulfilled with the work that you're currently doing. There seems to be a fork in the road. So maybe we need to explore both, or you choose which one. Either finding ways to be more fulfilled without changing what you're doing, so being more fulfilled in the teaching, in the training, or finding ways to do something different. Is it one or t'other? Is it both? Which should we look at?
We could look at both, but I I think if I'm really honest, that there isn't a lot more apart from what I can bring to the curriculum. And I think this is the other thing is I don't have anybody to bounce ideas off. It's just me. And that gets quite intense as well. They're only my ideas. And there's other people out there who've got different ideas. And it would be nice to have that collaboration to really improve our delivery. Um, but I think I don't know how far I can go in what I'm doing, just me. So I think it would be more about, we could explore that, but I think it's more about where I'm going and what I want.
Okay. So it sounds like, and certainly from your energy, it sounds like park that one to one side and look at this other bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it something that you want to revisit, either in coaching or at another point? Because you have mentioned
Yeah,
things like,
definitely.
do I find someone to collaborate with and bounce ideas off? Is
Yeah,
that something just as a takeaway to deal with it
yeah,
another time? Okay,
yeah.
okay. So then, all eyes now, then, isn't it, on uh, fulfillment out there in what you're not currently doing? So, is this, you implied before, this is about getting coaching clients? Is that at the heart of it, or is it something else?
I think it probably is, but I think it's also about me and my reaction because like I said, my head can tell me.
Hmm.
I know the conversations that are taking place out there, and I've had really good feedback, but I'm when doors keep slamming on your face, and I think there were two or three projects that I thought might come through for me, which haven't, and maybe that I shouldn't have sort of, I was positive about them, and they didn't, and that sort of really put me on a back burner. Um, so I think it's the way I'm reacting to things as well that I need to put into perspective, as well as trying to get those clients, and trying to get those paying clients,
Yeah.
ultimately, you know.
So you use a couple of um, expressions that are a bit of a paradox, aren't you? You talked about putting things in perspective, and then you use the expression "doors slamming in my face," which
Yeah.
sounds quite dramatic.
Yeah.
Tell us about the perspective and the door slamming.
Because logic tells me, I can sort of sit there and say, yes, I know. I know that I'm fairly new to the industry.
Mm,
I know that it doesn't matter that I have got really good feedback and I'm the people that I've coached have made progress or all of that. I'm still fairly new.
yeah,
And so the logic side of that tells me that. But I think because I invest so much of myself into, if I'm putting together a proposal, I'll spend hours on it and develop it. And if I'm reaching out to people, because I'm not a marketing person,
mm,
so if I'm reaching out and I'm almost putting myself out there. So to have that knocked again and again, you
yeah,
sort of think, right, it's it's hard for it not to get personal.
yeah, yeah. So it feels personal.
Yeah.
Mm,
And that's why it feels like the door slamming in your
yeah.
face.
No. Okay. Okay. And how vulnerable do you feel when you do that? When you write a proposal, or when you contact someone you don't know, and you take that first step?
Oh, hugely vulnerable. I'm really putting myself out there, especially as I'm not a marketing person. I don't sell myself.
Yeah.
I'm before I did my first LinkedIn post, I took me weeks. I had it ready, but I was so afraid of putting it out there. Yeah, it's you feel very vulnerable.
And the vulnerability is what?
Am I sharing something new, interesting? Um, am I going to get mocked? Are people going to take me seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm guessing, right, none of those things have happened, but have they? No. Okay. So just a punt. And you've used the word logical. So logically, these things are unlikely to happen, and yet, it's still those feelings bubble away, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. And it's really difficult. And that's the internal dialogue that you have going on. And whether that internal dialogue is making me question my where I am and that's why I don't feel fulfilled with what I'm doing because I know that if I had something that I could work on outside of my training, then that would be okay because I would have something that is occupying my mind, that's fulfilling me, that's pushing me into something new because I'm outside my comfort zone. Whereas I don't have that so much. So that's the thing.
Okay.
I've always put myself outside my comfort zone.
I'd like to ask you about that in a moment, if that's all right. But there was something I wanted to pick up from what you said before, which is about being vulnerable and putting something out there. So that moment, right? That moment when you press send or when you press upload and it goes out there, like what are you drawing on? What inner resource are you drawing on to actually post that thing and to ignore the, what did you call it? The nunchuck? No, not the nunchuck. The numbskull. The
Numbskulls.
numbskull. Sorry, not nunchucks. Yeah. What are you drawing on to actually make that final moment and post?
That resilience,
Yeah.
actually, I'm not stupid. I am an intelligent person. I've thought about this. I've researched it. I mean, what I've put together isn't just a whimsical thought process. There's depth to it that I'm putting together, that I'm sharing to share how I'm thinking and how I see things.
Mm.
So it is that. So it would be that, yeah, resilience and okay, I'm going to do this. And then you think, okay, if falls flat, it falls flat. It doesn't matter. Um, and after that first one, I'm more into that mode and think, okay, fine. This is me. I've had some really positive comments. People have engaged with what I'm saying. So that's given me confidence to do more. So I have more that I put out there.
Okay. So if we were going to map it out on a continuum from like zero is nervous, petrified, door slamming face, numbskull on full red alert, right? And 10 is like you're posting like I know you keep saying I'm not a marketing person, but you're posting like you're an uber marketing person, right? Now you've posted some and you're getting good feedback and you're starting to feel more confident. Where are you on that sort of 0 to 10 scale right now?
I'd probably say about a 5.
Okay, okay. And how does that feel? Getting to that 5 spot from being petrified.
Yeah, really good. I mean, I feel that there is that confidence, and yes, that's good. It's working. I can quieten down those numbskulls because a lot of what I write is what I experience, and it is about managing those numbskulls because everybody has them.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm aware of that as a leader. It doesn't matter how experienced you are, you're going to come across something
yeah.
that causes you to doubt, and it's how you manage that doubt so it doesn't take over. Um, so yeah, but it feels good. It
Okay,
feels positive, and it feels like it feels it's not the acknowledgement, it's just that okay, people resonate with that. That's
yeah.
good. I'm glad that I'm sharing something that people resonate with. Yeah.
Okay. So you've got yourself up to a 5. You can see that what you're sharing is useful. And actually, this journey from 0 to 5, it's giving you stimulus material for you to write and to support
Yeah.
other people more. Okay. So we're about halfway through our time, and I'm wondering what's been useful? What's working well for you today?
I think it's the realization, it's that drilling down and it's like, okay, first of all, it was just like, oh, what am I going to do with my career? But actually, it's more than that. And it's more about my fulfillment, regardless of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's what's making me feel fulfilled and that I have made progress, that I'm not stagnant. And it's good to see that and talk about that.
I have made progress. I'm not stagnant. Okay. Okay. Um, and as we get into the second half, the thing that you just said before, I think that was what I was imagining it'd be useful to explore, which is this idea that you will feel fulfilled whatever you're doing. So, before there was an implication that you could only be fulfilled if these external things were happening. If you find new coaching clients, if people are accepting your proposals and all those type of uncontrollables. Let's talk a bit more about I can be fulfilled whatever is happening externally.
Yeah, because that's down to me. It's what I do. It's how I fill my time to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
Um, and that is in my control. I don't need to rely on external stimuluses for that. Yeah, that's really interesting because it's in my control. It doesn't matter what I do. I can make things or I can do things within my different roles or whatever I'm doing to get that fulfillment.
Mm. Sounds like you're having a bit of a moment at the moment. What are you
Yeah,
what are you noticing?
just uh, a clarity. I don't need to chase these things. It's about just sitting with me.
Mm.
Um, and that it's okay.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, it's not about what other people see or perceive. It's about how I see things, how I perceive things, how I feel.
Yeah.
And if I'm feeling fulfilled, which I'm not, like at work, I'm not, and that is part of the problem.
Mm.
But what can I do to supplement that
Yeah.
so it's more in my control rather than what's being done to me?
Yes.
Um, yeah. And that would be the other fork
Yes.
that you were talking about before. Yeah.
So it's starting to sound like there's a different relationship between your fulfillment and what's happening, and that you can see you've got more agency over this. So what is this meaning to you?
I think it's about me thinking about what I'm doing, putting it into perspective,
Yeah.
and actually finding what is going to fulfill me. Um, and not getting caught up in the rat race or comparing or, I think one of the things is there's a real advantage to social media and there's a real positive side, but there's a real negative side as well. And sometimes that can be rather overwhelming.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's just stepping away and almost not trying to control outcomes so much.
Mm.
I think, everything that I've done to date has been a learning curve. Um, everything. And even, putting the proposals together, not getting them has been a learning curve. I've learned something from that and there's been growth there. And that's what I have to see it as rather than seeing the negative and saying, oh, I've got another no. It's like, actually, what did I learn from that?
Yeah.
Okay, I know now that I can put together a proposal well. And the feedback on that was the proposal was really good. The issue was I didn't have my ACC. And there's nothing I could do about that at that point in time. So, and that's what I have to reframe in my own head
Yeah.
that actually my ideas and my thoughts are strong and they're good. My intuition is good.
Mm.
I just need to give myself time to get some of the qualifications, which a lot of these things are looking for,
Yeah.
to prove commitment and to prove a standard that I'm operating within. And it is just reframing myself and just reminding myself of that, which is the important part.
Okay. So you're identifying there's a practical thing there, get that next qualification or get the accreditation or those type of things. And you're talking about your fulfillment in a really strong way. You said earlier on when you do these proposals, you spend hours on them. In those moments, how do you feel when you're spending those hours on them?
I'm really excited.
Okay.
I really enjoy it. I really get into it, and it's not done with oh, I've got to do this again. It's like, okay, fine. What are they looking for? This is what they want. Okay, so what can I offer? How can I do this?
Mm,
What can I do to let them see that I know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
And if you're looking for a trainer, I'm good at what I do.
yeah,
So yeah, that part of it is fine. Like I get quite excited by that because uh, it's almost like my lead to showcase what I can do
yes,
and my knowledge.
yes.
So yeah.
Okay, okay. So you can see that you're generating fulfillment in that work. What else? What else are you currently doing in your whole day, in your whole week that you are already finding fulfilling?
Um, just being a mum, you know, being a wife, reading, cooking. I'm not able to go on the walks that I was because I've sprained my ankle really badly, and I think that sort of doesn't help because
Mm,
I'm not able to get out in the fresh air,
mm,
which I'm so used to doing.
mm,
Um, but just being here,
mm,
just being out in nature and spending time with family, being really present, spending time with family
mm.
has been really good.
So there's plenty of things. You're not talking about missing the rush hour in West London.
No,
No,
not
just
at
checking.
all.
Ah,
Not at all. Yeah.
and what about in either work or let's call this sort of the wider personal development journey that you're on? What are you really enjoying about any of that stuff?
Learning, I'm loving the coaching
Mm,
and pushing the coaching, um, and drilling down. And actually, I had a coaching session this morning, and the person that I was coaching, she didn't have a very clear goal to start with, and we spoke and we spoke, and actually, it she came up with a goal, but then as we spoke more, there were three or four other things that she could have spoken about. But so I can see my improvement in that, in being able to drill down and
mm,
get somebody to talk to the point where they can identify a goal and then explore that. So I'm really enjoying that, and I'm
mm,
enjoying seeing myself grow from that point of view. Um, and I do enjoy training. I enjoy that. And researching coaching to the point of what new can I add, what's new out there, what's different that I can
mm.
add to the curriculum that I can enhance it. Um, so yeah, I've got those things.
Okay. What else? Well, that sounds like a long list, but is there anything else?
Um, no, yeah, I would like to do more in terms of my own growth. And it's about because the ACC for me is about going deeper
Mm,
and understanding and really consolidate. But it's also I'd like to explore different coaching in different environments as well, just for my own
mm,
understanding and um, deepen my approach, I think. I like to learn and I like to keep learning. And that's where I find I'm quite frustrated with what I'm doing at the moment because I feel like there's only so far I can go within this, which is, I find frustrating.
so the growth and development of you as a coach with your clients, but also learning new approaches, new modalities, that's the thing that's really stimulating you.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And we don't have to get into it now, but have you got a plan? Have you got a loose plan of the type of things that you want to carry on learning to help you carry on growing, or is that a work in progress?
Um, No, I have got a loose idea. I would like to get my PCC. I would like to sort of carry on and do that. But I'd also like to venture into trauma coaching and sort of develop that side of it. I think that would help me give back a little bit. Um, so yeah, I think that's what I'd like to explore
Mm.
um, myself.
And these are all areas, aren't they, that they don't really rely on any external body in order for you to carry on engaging in your learning.
No.
Okay, okay. So apart from, that thing that no doubt you will be working on anyway, the client acquisition work, for you who self-described as I'm not a marketing person, but you are seem to be doing marketing activities, so posting and all the rest of it. Um, Apart from that bit, what other frustrations are left bubbling away for you on the fulfillment front?
Um, I think there's my day to day, I want more
Mm,
in terms of what I do. You know, like I said before, I'm not engaging any of my leadership skills in my work. Um, and I worked hard to be a leader and to have that. And I don't want to lose those
mm,
because I'm not using them. Um, and I think there's lots of parts of my knowledge that I'm not able to use because this is so specific. It's not like I'm teaching on different apprenticeships and I can use my knowledge in different ways
mm,
because we do teaching and learning. You have TA apprenticeships and things like that, but I'm not used on any of those. So it's just the coaching. And I say just, I don't mean it that way, but it is the coaching. But that's all I do. So I'm not I've got my workshops and I've got the curriculum, and once I've gone through it, I've gone through it.
mm.
So then I'm just repeating the same old, and I find that quite. I make it engaging for myself because the cohorts are different. I've started to bespoke the curriculum. So I've just done a bespoke level 5 for a group of head teachers. So it's very education orientated. I've got a charity that I'm working with, so I'm changing that because they want their values threaded through. So I'm doing that. So things like that keep me occupied and keep me going. But again, it doesn't take me, days to do it.
Yeah,
It's just straightforward because I know the curriculum and I know what to do, so I can just slot things
yeah.
in the right way. Um, and maybe I should be grateful for a slightly less intense work, but I want more. I'm not feeling as jittery as I was at the start of this session about it all. I'm a lot calmer, and I think I'm happier to take things in my stride.
Mm.
Whereas before this conversation, I was very much jumping around and I was jittery and I was just like, okay, what's this? What's this? What's this? And actually, I'm much calmer and much more um, appreciative, I think it's the word, of where I am fulfilled and what that means in the bigger picture. And
Mm.
it's not just about this one small area which had dominated everything else. And it's
Yeah.
just helped me put into a bit of perspective.
Oh, well, I'm really pleased to hear it, and we will in a moment. We'll pick up on some of those wonderful words so that we can bottle it a little bit. But there was one tiny thing that I just wanted to pick up on that you just said. Is that it sounds like the one area you're still feeling a bit frustrated is the lack of opportunity to use your leadership experience
Mm.
in those areas. Is that, without getting into detail now, uh, is that an area that you need to think about? How can I be exercising my leadership, whether it's teaching others or having a leadership role or something of that nature? Is that a sort of an itch that needs scratching for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I do need to think about that because I left being a leader, it was before I was ready.
Yeah.
No, but I wasn't well enough to keep going with it. But I'm finding that actually, and I thought I'd be okay.
Mm.
I thought actually, I'm quite happy to go in at this level and just do what I do. And I don't, it's easy. And it has been, 18
Mm.
months has been great. But I'm now like, okay, I need a bit more.
Yes. And have you explored that? Because I am mindful. Yeah, I can imagine. Deputy head teacher, and now you're part of a pool of trainers. I can imagine it must feel very, very different. Have you explored that much? Is it one that you talk through with colleagues or friends or your husband, or is it just something you're aware of?
No, I've talked it through with my husband, and this is why I've applied for the headship because I think it will scratch that itch. It'll give me the next step that would have come my way anyway. Um, and what I've done over the last 18 months, I think just adds a different depth to me as a
Yeah,
person,
yeah,
and dealing with adults and adult training, which is so important as a head anyway.
yes.
Um, so I think that is something I don't think I could be a leader in a corporate world. I can't, I, I've seen that and it's not something that's for me. It's not my thing. So I will go back to education, I think, and that would suit me well. And then I can use my coaching within that as well, naturally. And that's, it's yeah, that would work.
Okay. Okay. So there's an opportunity, something on the table, and if not, this sounds like a theme that you're going to carry on exploring, making sure you get your
Yeah, I think
leadership.
so.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Hiral, we spent nearly an hour together, maybe nearly 50 minutes coming up with lots of thoughts and ideas. So, as we come to a close, can I invite you maybe summarize the learning you're taking away from all of our conversation?
I think there's a lot I need to be grateful for. And there's a lot of areas that are more important to me where I am fulfilled in, especially family and where we are, where we live, and recognizing that. And it's about, when we spoke about the proposal and you asked me, how did I feel when I wrote that? And it was like, actually, yeah, I felt really good because my knowledge and my ideas were right. They were on point. It was something that was outside my control at the moment. That was the barrier. And it's just putting all of those things into perspective, really, to stop me beating up on myself
Mm,
and acknowledging how much I have grown and how much I have developed over the last 18 months.
yeah. Okay. And that was significant.
Yeah, yeah, it really was because I took that refusal, I took it quite personally, and I didn't stop to really acknowledge what they had said. I just said, right, that's another no.
Yeah.
And then there was another no, and it was just, I'm tired of this. But when you asked me how I felt and I reflected on that, that was a real point for me.
Good. I'm pleased. I'm pleased. Well, at the beginning of the conversation, you wanted to uh, identify ways to feel more fulfilled, and you wanted to shift this numbskull a bit, didn't you? The
Yeah.
unhelpful, unconfident feeling. So, where are you at on those two questions, fulfillment and feeling more confident?
Oh, I feel totally different. Yeah, the numbskull's quiet and he's back in his box, which is great. And the just reminding myself to look at those, to look at the feedback and to look at things in a more objective point of view,
Mm,
not so that I can see the positive side and not just see it from that's just another no.
yes.
And I think it's just to help balance that.
Good. Oh, I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased. So I'm very mindful that you've talked in depth about loads of these things and also lots of little sidebars, weren't there? So if it's all right, let's just check in, see if there are some tangible things you want to take away from today that you'll do either in the short or the medium term. Any actions for you?
Um, I think, yeah, it's just that regular checking in with myself. If I do get a no, then actually looking at it, okay, what came out positive out of
Mm,
that? and reminding myself I'm still on this journey.
Mm.
You know, I'm on this journey for a reason because I want to get to a certain standard, and it may or may not open doors, but I'm doing this for myself. Um, I am going to pursue leadership opportunities because that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Um, but I've got lots of areas where I have huge amounts of fulfillment, and is reminding myself of putting those in the forefront because they're more important than anything else.
Okay, so there's a tangible pursue leadership opportunities, but then there's also a like an internal remind yourself of the appreciation and that it's your own
Yeah.
journey. Okay, and how are you going to know if either of those things are useful or working and are benefiting you?
I think with obviously applying for headships
Yeah.
and that's, you know, or leadership opportunities that I see, and I am actively looking at that, but it's being patient with that as well. It's
Mm,
not putting myself under pressure. And and again, it's about being present, you know, it's about appreciating where I am and not constantly giving myself a hard time
yeah,
about you should be further along.
yeah.
It you know, there isn't a scale or a timeline on this.
Okay. So there's not a scale, not a timeline. And if the old you should be doing better than this numbskull turns up, how are you going to? And I notice he's male, right? How just saying, right? Uh, how, how are you going to manage him?
It it will be just self-reflection
Yeah,
on how far I've come,
yeah,
um, and where I'm at now, and just look at all the small achievements that I've made, even in my workplace, the recognitions, where I am really proud of the curriculum that we deliver and the
yeah,
changes that we've made, all of that.
yeah.
It's just a reminder that actually it's going well.
Good. I'm really pleased. Well, thank you. Thank you for getting stuck into so much and sharing so openly. What's your learning? What's your learning about yourself from all of this work?
Um, I need to not be so hard on myself. And if I'm not so hard on myself, I will see that I've got strengths that I probably am stifling because I'm so hard on myself. And actually, if I'm not, then they will grow even more.
So is that a bit of a metaphor, stifling your strengths because you're being hard on yourself? Is there an image for you? I don't know what I'm seeing, flowers or something. Is there an
Yeah,
image for
no,
you
there
you
is.
see?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is definitely. Definitely. It's almost like uh, well, it was like a physical ceiling on a bed of flowers, and that's what I saw. That me being hard on myself is that, whereas if I let that go, then there's more light coming through.
Oh, yeah, well, that's a nice metaphor. So, are you ready to bring today to a close and to take that message of less hard on yourself into the rest of the day and the rest of the week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, well, thank you. It's always a joy spending time with you here. But thank you for working really hard and really pushing yourself along. And I'm really rooting for you. I hope that these things really work well, and that you see that great impact because this is a significant moment for you in your career. So thank you for getting stuck in, and do
No,
let me know how you get on.
I will do. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's
That
lovely.
was really good.
Good. I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased. Okay.